Hi, and welcome to Newsoft Technologies Medical Practice Management Podcast Series. I'm Lindsay Coates. Last August, we brought you the top 5 things you need to know about meaningful use in the HITECH Act. Here, back with me today to explain some more things, we've got Steve Rogers, our Director of Product Management. Hey, Steve.
Good morning, Lindsay.
And he's going to fill you in on some of the other things that you need to know surrounding HITECH and meaningful use and how far we've come since then. So, Steve, 2011, it's the year of the incentive payment. They've started going out. Tell us what's going on with those.
Okay. Let's do a quick refresher first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the HITECH Act was a portion of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, the ARRA. I'm sure everybody's seen those acronyms floating around. And that's what actually mandated the incentives to Medicare and Medicaid providers. And we all have to keep in mind it's not for just adoption of EHR technology. It's actually for meaningful use of that technology. And a quick refresher on the Medicare program. So the Medicare program, to get maximum payments, you can begin either in 2011 or 2012, and the payments would be up to $44,000 over a 5-year period. And again, either beginning in 2011 or in 2012. If you start after 2012, you still get incentive payments, but the maximum amount could not be realized because it cuts it off after 2015.
So it just starts a reduction.
Right. You start at a lower rate, and then every year you get money, but you miss the first year payment.
Gotcha.
For Medicaid eligible professionals, the program is a little bit different. For those professionals, they can receive up to $63,750 over a 6-year period, and the year that they begin to use the certified EHR technology can continue longer than the Medicare. So Medicare, you had to start in either 2011 or 2012 to get the maximum payment. With Medicare, you can actually start later because that program runs through 2021.
And that's for every state?
That's a great question. Each state is separate. The Medicaid programs are state-run. They are voluntarily administered by each state.
Okay.
And an eligible professional, absolutely, if they want to participate in Medicaid, they should go and make sure that their state is actually started up and using it. Because some states have implemented a program and some states have not as of right now.
So a big piece of the equation is the incentive checks. And to get those, you have to be using a certified system.
Right.
Checks are going out, must mean that there are certified systems. What are vendors doing, and how can a provider, or what should a provider be looking for?
Well, certified EHR technology is absolutely the first thing. There is a great site. There are several sites that you can get the information from because people have links over. But the ONC ATCB site, you can go to a link that has a full listing. You can do a search for your vendor. You can do a search based on the product name. Or if you had the certification number, you could do a search based on that and get more details on the product. But in any case, you must be using a certified EHR technology. There's currently 4 main testers, companies, vendors who are doing the testing. Primarily among those, the two that have most of the processes working through them right now are C-CHIT and Drummond Group. But there are also 2 other vendors who are doing testing now. So there's a total of 4 companies doing the testing. And it's important to make sure first, again, you're using certified EHR technology, and you need to check that off.
Okay, so where is Newsoft in the process?
Great question. We've actually got a certified product. The new MD EHR version 11.1 has been certified. We went through the C-CHIT organization for our certification. So right now, if you look, there's about 350 certified programs out there, and Newsoft absolutely has one of them. Again, NewMD EHR version 11.1.
And that can all be checked up on the CMS website?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. With all the certification numbers, registration process, all of that.
So let's switch gears a minute. There's been a lot of conversation and talk about these regional extension centers, or RECs. Mm-hmm. How do they fit into this meaningful use picture?
Okay. It's actually a pretty big piece. Under HITECH, $677 million is allocated to support a nationwide system of RECs. So obviously a lot of money was spent on that. Their primary objective is to provide training and support services to assist doctors and other providers in adoption of EHRs and working through with those doctors to train them on how to use that technology to actually meet meaningful use. So the rec centers, they're focused on priority primary care providers. So it's kind of a rural settings and underprivileged settings, and again focused on primary care doctors. And what they've done is they've gone out, each of the rec centers that is active, they've gotten funding from the government through the HITECH Act, and they're functioning as a go-to resource for the doctors in those situations to come to identify, who should they talk to about EHR technology, what are the differences between them, and which one might be best for them. And again, then doing on-site training and working through how to use that EHR technology to meet meaningful use.
Okay, but there's been a lot of controversy surrounding them. What is that about?
Well, it's partly it's the selection process, which EHR technology is going to be used. There's been some questions on exactly how each state rec center handled that, or each territorial entity within the rec centers handled that. Which ones were included, which ones weren't, what their selection process was. But also, there's a funding question, because if the rec centers cannot prove that they are self-sufficient and they can actually make money off of working through with the vendors and working with those primary care physicians, then the funding from the government may be cut off. So there is some question of their longevity in this program.
Okay, so CMS will cut the funding after.
That's the way it's positioned right now.
Okay.
Right.
What's next on the horizon for meaningful use in high tech, and what should providers be looking for?
Right now we're in stage 1 of meaningful use. There's already requirements, preliminary requirements going out for stage 2. But just a quick refresher, I know we've already put out some information relative to stage 1, so we'll reference that later if somebody wants to go back and look. But stage 1 includes 15 core requirements plus 10 menu items, of which a particular eligible provider needs to choose 5 in order to meet meaningful use. Part of the plan that's been proposed for stage 2 is that some of those menu items might move over into the core requirement category. And some of the core requirements, where there's a percentage of how many of your patients you've met this criteria, those percentages may increase. The formal stage 2 proposal went out earlier this year, and it was open for comment through February 25th. So that comment period has already closed, and the committee that's tasked with coming up with a final proposal on the stage 2 requirements right now says that they're going to have that in place by the spring of this year, spring of 2011. The requirements would take effect January 1st, 2013. Okay. So the current stage 1 requirements are in place for 2011 and 2012. And so the stage 2 requirements, again, that's something that would come into play for calendar year 2013 for eligible professionals. So at this point, it's been open for comment, comments have come in, and now it's the review process with an expectation that by summer we'll see something coming out.
Get a final rule
get a final rule. Yeah, so they'll come back with a final proposal, and then that would be formalized at some point then in the summer.
Okay, and then moved into implementation in 2013.
Yeah. Yep. So the calendar year 2011-2012 follow the stage 1 requirements.
Well, I want to thank you, Steve, for joining us today.
Thank you, Lindsay.
And thank you to everyone else. I want to encourage you to go back and watch our previous podcast from August that covers a lot more of the nitty-gritty of the actual meaningful use and HITECH Act and what it is and incorporates. And also, as an ultimate guide, reference cms.gov. They've got some excellent tutorials on there to walk you through how to get paid, and we'll get those incentive payments in your door. So thanks again, and make sure to join us next month.